Well, hello guys. Here we are again with another video, and this time, oddly enough, we start with a book. A couple of years ago I got my hands on the unfinished tales of Middle-earth, and among many others, one of the moments that caught my eye immediately was the story of Cirion, steward of Gondor, and the conflict against the I don't know how to say this.
Balkith.
Okay. This part of the Third Age has not yet been explored in Middle-earth's strategy battle game, except an Earl the Young miniature released years ago, but maybe somewhere in the future movies or other material is made about this and other great stories from Tolkien's world, and eventually we might get them into the game. Today we are doing that by ourselves. You'll see how. But first, a bit of context. After the disappearance of Earnur, last king of Gondor, in Minas Morgul, the line of kings in Gondor was broken. Arnor had fallen already, and the royal line was now kept alive among the Dunedain Rangers, so the government of Gondor fell into the stewards until the return of the king. Cirion was the 12th on that position, successor of his father, Boromir, and he inherited a weaker and smaller kingdom than his predecessors. The situation was especially noticeable in the region of Calenardon, which was very low populated and basically there for the taking. That is what a confederation of Easterlings known as the
Balkith
probably thought, and they started attacking Gondor's territory since they knew their military strength was not as it once was. Knowing of the dangers of this invasion, Cirion did two things. First, he gathered an army and marched north to defend their territory, and second, he sent 6 riders further north, among them Borondir, one of Gondor's best riders, across enemy lines, to call for aid from the people known as the Eotheod, led by Eorl the Young. But we will stop the story here, since we will continue it in a future video. With this inspiration in mind, I had to start planning. I wanted these guys to look Gondorian, but not fully late Third Age looking, since the miniatures we have from that time have full plate armor and there is around 500 years of difference between them. Therefore, I decided that the regular troops will have a more archaic look, but some late Third Age equipment to show the evolution of their technology. So I used Minas Tirith helmets and shields to achieve that. For the bodies, again, my best option was to use the old Rohan warriors, since the predominance of leather and scale armor helped giving them this older look, similar to how a 17th century army will look completely different than a 12th century one. It was about time that I put my history studies to use. I put together 12 warriors in the end, 4 of each kind, following this process. The conversion bits came from my trusted Perry Miniatures bits box, especially the Foot Knight sprue, and some leftover longbows from Gondor troops. After this, I took a horn from the Mounted Knights, from Perry Miniatures again, and a banner pole from the Big Tricks Viking sprue, and put together a banner bearer and a horn blower. Their bodies are Perry Knights over Minas Tirith legs, and gave them a cape made with paper, since they didn't have one to start with. I really have to learn how to make them with green stuff eventually, but I have to get my hands on some green stuff again before I do that. Now we tackle the most important part of this army, their leaders. Let's start with Borondir, the rider that was sent north and came back with reinforcements. I wanted him to look like a captain and stand out from the troops, so I took the helmet of 2 Fountain Court guards to give him that look. The mounted version was assembled on top of a horse I had in my bits box. I'm unsure if it was Big Tricks or Perry, with a recasted Milliput cape and a Numenor shield. The rest of the bits are from the 2 manufacturers already mentioned, and here he is. The foot version followed basically the same principles, this time using a Perry Knight as a body and a paper cape. The other bits were applied, and he's ready as well. When it came to Cirion, I took one of the Fountain Court guard bodies I had left and decided to use it. It helped me giving him that elite leader look with better equipment than his army, and more ornamented as well. So I gave him a parry sword and a Numenor shield over the reconstructed left arm that you usually used to hold a spear, and then I used an unhelmeted Theoden head to finish him up. After that, I worked on the mountain version, which I did not think about doing at the beginning, but it was too nice not to do in the end. I used a Minas Tirith torso over a Victrix Teutonic Knight's legs and a recasted shape as well. All of this was mounted on a horse with caparison that I found on my bits box, so it looks like a Bretonnian knight. And I assume it's also Victrix, but I'm not sure. Nevertheless, it was perfect for the look I was going for. And then I just added his sword and shield and all details. And here they are both together. Once the army was built, I had to decide the color palette to make them stand out from my normal Gondor armies. What I decided to do was very easy, but yet pretty effective, I will say. I swapped their main colors. I made white the predominant color and black I used for contrast, instead of the normal black main and white contrast, keeping their armors bright silver with golden details. This gives them a very nice, almost ceremonial look, inspired in Crusader knights such as the Teutonic, and makes them stand out massively among my other Gondor armies. Once this was done, I made a paper banner with some decals, based them, and here they're ready. I cannot stress enough how happy I am with this army. It looks exactly how I wanted them to in my head, to be completely honest. I honestly doubt I will resist myself from making more infantry or cavalry in the future. I might have started doing this already. And I enjoy this overall look way too much to avoid doing that eventually. I'm just super happy. This is one of the projects I'm the happiest about in my life. The way I decided to use these guys in a legal manner, which is also important, was through the Realms of Men army list, using Cirion as a king of Gondor and Borondir as a Dol Amroth captain to justify the horse, since Minas Tirith captains cannot be mounted anymore, and I don't think it's fair to use Borondir as a king of men, since he was not even close to that range, but he was more like a captain. Now, I'm just missing the other half of the army, which we will do in a future video. So the reinforcements from the north join these troops in the defense of Gondor. I have some ideas on how to do that. If you have any, please let me know in the comments. But that's gonna come eventually once I manage to get my hands on some kits I'm thinking about and put them together, paint them, and then you'll see. So it's gonna take a while, but it will be coming eventually. Until then, I'll leave it here, and please let me know what you think about them and if you have any more ideas to make armies in this way. From any faction or time in Tolkien's lore, I'm more than open to try to do stuff and do some unique armies and units for my collection. I enjoy doing this way too much, and I hope you do enjoy watching it. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. and I'll see you all next time. Cheers!